Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmol Astrology channel. Today's video is about the transit of Mercury in the sign of Aquarius. So Mercury is transiting in the sign of Aquarius on 11th of February 2025 and it is going to stay there till 27th of February 2025. It is going to actually join Saturn on 11th of February. Then Sun is also going to come on 12th of February. And I have already made a video upon what does the conjunction of Sun, Saturn, and Mercury mean, and also the transit video for all the zodiac signs. So you can actually watch it under the videos section. Now, let's just talk about first what is the meaning of Mercury in the sign of Aquarius. And then further, we are going to discuss how it is going to affect all the zodiac signs for approximately, you can say, 16 days, right? Because it is going to be there till 27th. So, Mercury. Mercury is the planet of intellect, communication, intelligence, quick thinking, or just the thinking process. Mercury is also about your how active your mind is. It represents envious nature, jealousy, revengeful nature. That's why you will see all the nakshatras that are ruled by Mercury are actually associated with revenge, right? So Mercury is a very, very significant planet for understanding an individual, understanding their thinking process, how they think, what they think, how pessimistic they are, how optimistic they are. That is what you can decide on the basis of one person's Mercury. Now, do you have to say this, that believe this here, that if Mercury is debilitated, then a person is pessimistic, and if it is, exalted, a person is optimistic? No, not at all. It's just what, howsoever the condition of Mercury is in your chart, that is going to be the deciding factor of your thinking process, of your understanding, of your adaptability. Mercury is a planet which lets you adapt in your environment. How stubborn you are, how adjustable you are. That is Mercury. Mercury is a youthful planet who wants to stay young, who wants to, just go around, talk to everyone, make them feel comfortable in your presence, make them laugh. So Mercury also is, dependable. It is dependent on your sense of, your sense of humor depends on Mercury. It is the natural ruler of the third house and the sixth house. So your routine life, your skills, your communication skills, your relationship with your siblings, close friends, that is dependent on Mercury. Now, when this Mercury goes into the sign of Aquarius, or just assume it going into the 11th house, what do you feel can happen? First of all, the sign of Aquarius is a sign which is associated with larger population. It is associated with when you are presentable in front of so many people, when you have to present yourself, when you have to work with corporates, when you have to work and or present your work in front of larger population. 11th house is the house of your desires, your benefits, gains, recognition. It is one of the houses that creates obstacles. Why? Because your desires, or if you have unnecessary desires, that actually is considered as obstacle in certain things in your life. 11th house is about your social recognition, your social networking, right? So when Mercury comes into this house, or Mercury comes into the sign of Aquarius, first of all, this sign is ruled by Saturn. Mercury comes into the airy element and domain of Saturn. This is a person who is introvert all their childhood, but they have a lot to talk about. These people are very, very curious. You will always find a why in their sentence. They love asking questions. Do you know, whenever I get a client who has written, and most of all, I get to, work with people who are way younger than me or who are just part of the youth. So whenever I see a person just writing me a like whole letter in their email as a part of their questions, I know this person has a prominent Mercury, and their Mercury can be associated with the 11th house, with the sign of Aquarius, or with Saturn as well, or even the third house or the second house. Because whenever I see this placement, I know these people have total structured communication, structured writing. When they will write, first they will give you the background story, then they will give you they will categorize all the points into certain sections, and they would do a chapter. I remember a client of mine with Mercury and Aquarius, and he actually wrote the email. He got a full analysis, and he wrote the email where he wrote chapter 1, chapter 2, and till chapter 6, like 6 chapters. I had a way, I think it was a 30-minute long email only where I had to read the whole of that email so as to give him answers, and I made actually 2 recordings for him. I remember specifically. These people are so structured with their communication. But, this structure comes in, this overly communicative nature comes in later in their life. Like you won't see this person to be communicating when they are very little in their life. When they are small, when they are into their school, kindergarten, they're not communicative at all. Rather, they are totally opposite. They are very shy, very introvert, very facts related person who wants facts. They would not believe you if you would give them some random explanation to something. They work on facts. They believe on facts. So when this person, turns 18 or above, or even they come into their 20s, they become an individual who becomes, communicative, but they are very topic specific of their communication. If they want, like, if they went to an astrologer and they want to ask things to them, then they are going to come out with their communication. So they're not people who are unnecessarily going to just go out and communicate with a lot of people. When they communicate with some agenda, with some topic, with some goal. And let me tell you, these people are the most intelligent individuals. And their intelligence is very, very different from Mercury being in any other air sign, be it being Libra, be it being Gemini. These people have an intellect where they are extremely cautious, extremely careful individuals. If they are to become a doctor 10 years down the lane, they'll start planning 10 years ahead, and they'll start planning even this most specifications of how they are going to become a doctor, what they are going to do, how they are going to, go into training programs within the journey. They're going to be very, very specific with everything. They're going to research way deeper than what we, normally can imagine. So if you think it is the house of social recognition, it is the house of society, then this person is going to be all about, just a person who is a social butterfly, wants to connect here and there. No, they are not social butterflies, not at all. They like to be social, but they like to be social only when they know they can derive something out of that particular social interaction. They would connect with someone only if they know they have some benefit. They can get some influence from that person. They can get some career benefit or materialistic benefit from that individual in the future. They are so sharp and so intellectual in that sense. And also you would know that, you know, Aquarius is a sign that is co-ruled by Rahu. That's why it is considered as one of the karmic signs, right? So you would see that these individuals actually are very, very practical. And their practicality is not like the practicality of the earth individuals, like of stability, right? These people are willing to take risk, but also willing to be extremely fearful about taking risks. I hope I am able to explain this point correctly. Like, these people have futuristic goals. They have massive goals. They always have goal where they have to do something in their career with their skills, since it is the third lord, with their skills, with their courage, with their routine repetitive work. They want to do something which can be benefited to a large population. Like, for example, these people can be scientists. With their research, with their results, the results of their research, they might help larger populations. These people can do excellent with numbers. They can be scientists, they can be lawyers who fight for the right of people. That's why they always have why. They always have that curiosity, and they fight for what is right. Of course, you need to have the influence of Mars here. You need to have the influence of Jupiter also, and a lot of things are going to be counted here. But these people have some agenda to fight for. They make innovations, they do certain things with which they can benefit others and also themselves. They never forget themselves. With whatsoever sign goes into the sign of Aquarius, they are going to benefit people, but they are not going to forget themselves. They are going to benefit themselves as well. I think the table is, yeah. Okay. Right? So, Mercury coming into the sign of Aquarius, this also makes a person very structured, very much of a cautious individual, agenda-based individual, practical, most importantly. And it is very hard to understand a person with Mercury in Aquarius. I won't say they are dual in nature, but they are different. They are indifferent. These people stand out with their thinking process. Their thinking, their way of understanding a particular subject can be way different than others. And they have a very structured communication and they think a lot. If this placement does have the influence of Saturn, these people, before saying something, they actually think about what they want to communicate. They actually have a conversation within their mind first before they actually communicate that. But you know what? These people have to be very careful with their communication. They have to be very careful with their unstable behavior. They always have to move slow and patiently, because Mercury is a quick planet and we are putting it into a sign which is ruled by Saturn and which represents patience and slowness. So that's why Mercury here has to slow down. Another thing you would see is these people can have OCD. OCD, not just about cleanliness, but it can be about anything, just perfection, perfection in whatsoever they do. And even they are very particular, very picky of whom they connect with, whom they talk with. And these people can even ghost you with communication. Suppose when I see this sign, I know this person, if they want to speak to you, if they want to interact with you, they are going to be all the time talking with you. But if they choose, do not find interest in you, if they lose their interest in you, you would see them that they would even see your chats and not reply, just ghost you like that. Right? So these are certain qualities of Mercury in the sign of Aquarius. Now let's understand how this Mercury in coming in Aquarius is going to affect us in the transit. So first of all, while it is coming into the sign of Aquarius, it is joining with Saturn. Now, I'm not going to include Sun here because we have already made two videos on that and we have discussed how it is going to affect with the transit. Now, let's just talk about Saturn and Mercury conjunction. So, when Saturn gets connected with Mercury in the sign of Aquarius, this is the negotiation. This is the business of lifetime. This is a business deal that you make based on facts, based on experience, and to get recognized in front of a large population. This is the crux of this conjunction. See, when Saturn gets connected with Mercury by placement, not by sign, but by placement, it can trigger anxiety. It can trigger, I won't say depression. This is not the placement of depression, but it is a placement of anxiety and panic attacks. These people, when they think in a very technical manner. Very technical. So this is a conjunction of a person who who loves to work with budgets, numbers, statistics, maybe data scientist, data architect. I've seen such people having Sun and Mercury conjunction in various signs. These people love to crunch numbers or play with numbers, even if this person is a psychologist, for example. These people are going to be excellent psychologists. They know what to say where. And you cannot make a fool of this individual. They are totally on your face. They are totally blunt and straightforward with their communication. And they can be extremely, I won't say rude, but they can be extremely honest and straight up to your face without any filter. And they have structured communication, they have structured finances. And these people they don't like making casual relationships. They don't. See, your Mercury placement will tell you what kind of casual relationships you can make. Like for example, I see certain people who just feel very comfortable talking to new people or strangers. They just love making new connections. But when you have Saturn and Mercury, they make connections only when they think it is required to make a connection. Otherwise, they cannot just go on blabber anything and everything and just, be your friend. They will only, suppose, for example, if there's a person you see, that person goes every day, they go at a certain place. For example, they go at a gym. They'll just go there, do their exercise, just talk to one or two people, then come back. You know, in Hindi we call it as काम से काम रखते हैं ये लोग, ऐसे होते हैं. So these people are straightforward, they are very calculative, they are considerate, and most importantly, they are very grounded. They have sense of respect for everyone, not just elders, but also the ones who are younger to them. And howsoever these people must have been in their childhood, now here the moon placement is also going to count. But these people, are always respectful and generous for everyone else. They'll take decisions, they'll speak accordingly, just taking in consideration the other person's feelings. So they have very good values instilled within them. The only problematic situation is when Mercury is your nervous system. When it gets connected with Saturn, it either slows that down completely or it just gives that fearfulness. It gives that impatience where your nervous system just actually goes out of your control. That's why you people have panic attacks or people have anxiety with this. They are extremely cautious. Nowadays, I've been watching I don't know if you guys, most of you are aware of that series or not. It is about Monk. It's called as Monk. So Monk, it's Adrian Monk, and that is a series which me and my husband are obsessed about nowadays. It is about a detective, a consultant, who finds out and solves the cases, homicide cases. So I'm absolute in love with that. And when I'm talking about Aquariuses, why not? We would have detective, homicides, investigations. These people love that, absolutely love that. And they are very observant. Their observance is very sharp. Their opinions are very to the point, and their opinions are something you can depend upon, right? So this placement can actually give you a lot of uh instability in the beginning of your life, but as you grow, it is going to take you to a very stable ground. So you are going to have success. You are going to have success in long term, right? So let's talk about transits. I think we have spent a lot of time discussing Mercury in Aquarius and then Mercury and Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. Now let's just learn about the transit. So when this conjunction is coming into the transit, it wants you to focus on the area where this conjunction is coming with, where this placement is coming. It says that you will be able to get recognition from that area, but all you need to do is to put structure into that area, to not deviate from that particular area, wherever this is coming. So definitely this talks about massive success and massive recognition, but your skills are going to be counted in. Your stability, your groundedness is going to be counted in. And at the same time, that is going to be the area which is going to take most of your attention. And one more thing, when Saturn and Mercury gets connected all together, your unnecessary distraction and attraction goes away. Like, for example, Mercury is a youthful person. It's infatuation, attraction. So when Saturn comes with Mercury, you're not attracted with random people anymore. You love to be associated with mature people. with people who have sense of groundedness, sense of maturity, who have intellect of an old person, experienced person. So they love to be into a limited environment, interacting with limited amount of people, but those people need to be, you know, intelligent, mature, right? So let's just dive into transits. So this is the Muhurta chart for this particular transit. So we have Taurus ascendant. So I did tell you this in the very beginning when I stated things about the transit, that this transit is actually going to be about, you know, making deals for your lifetime, making negotiations for lifetime. So definitely it's a very practical time. It is very finance oriented time. It is more about, you know, being recognized along with gaining something, right? So that's why we are getting Taurus ascendant. It's also Rohini nakshatra. So Rohini is all about beauty, skills, artistic talents. Now, if we think Saturn and Mercury, because of their nature, it's not that these people do not have creativity. They can actually be extremely creative individuals, but their creativity always comes with technicality. Now, these are not going to be like, for example, they are not the interior designers, but they are the architects. There's a difference. Interior designer is all about, you know, just designing the structure. You know, the structure has already been made. Now you just have to design it, and the actual crux you have to bring out. But what was the major work? The major work was about building the foundation. And then only the interior designing was possible. Now, this building of foundation with all the technicalities, with all the things, that is what Saturn Mercury is about. That is the kind of creativity that is there for them, right? And one more thing, which is very important, Saturn and Mercury, both of them do not have any authority, or they are not gender specific. That's why when Saturn comes with Mercury, you can neither call them authoritative, nor you can call them submissive. They're not dominant, they are not submissive. But since this is coming into a fixed sign, this conjunction, this placement, that means that you will use your intellect, your belief system, and your expertise, and use that very strongly, very firmly to be recognized. So, your learnings, your skills, knowledge, expertise, everything is going to matter for this transit. Whatsoever you are going to achieve, whatsoever benefit you are going to get, whatsoever recognition you are going to have, you are going to have that on this basis only by using all of this, right? At the same time, we also have Moon in the third house. Sorry, in the sign of Cancer, in the nakshatra of Pushya, which in itself is the nakshatra of Saturn. So when Pushya comes in, you know, Moon comes in the nakshatra of Pushya, that also matures a person. That also talks about sacrifice for a person. Sacrifice of what? Sacrifice of not being immature. You would see people with Pushya Nakshatra also mature way early in their life. They take responsibility. How do they take responsibility? By nourishing other people, by thinking about them before themselves, just like a mother does. She just discards herself and thinks about her child, her husband first. So that's how this moon is there, that you have to be nourishing. You have to be considerate. This is your time to be humble, to be mature, to leave that, that youthfulness, and to stay grounded. Only then you'll be recognized for your actions. You'll be recognized for what you are doing. Right? So let's start with the Taurus ascendant. For Taurus ascendants, this conjunction is happening in the 10th house. Now, this conjunction is actually telling in the 10th house is telling you to you have Jupiter in the first house right now, and it is direct now. So definitely you're getting a lot of rigidity and stubbornness because of this Jupiter. And you have been feeling the fact that I know a lot of things. I don't need anyone else to, just get help from. I am my own advisor. But now is the time when you need to make some changes, first of all, within your career. And those changes are going to be related to your skills. But at the same time, you are required to be humble. You will get an opportunity where you will have to sacrifice for someone else. And your uh, your image, your social recognition is going to be at stake because of your decision. So whatsoever you're going to decide, that is going to be the deciding factor that whether or not you will enjoy a fruitful image, you would enjoy a positive popularity or a negative one. So this is something that is going to arise. And since you have moon in the third house, you will be fearful about your image. You will be fearful about whatsoever I'm putting up front, whatsoever efforts am I putting there. Are they going to get recognized? You will have this in your mind. And trust me, whatsoever good deeds or good karma, good action you're going to do once and for all for this month of February, that is going to be taken into consideration forever, for a very long time from now. So choose your decisions wisely. Now, this is having the ninth lord and the 10th lord conjunct with your second and fifth. This is a quite good yoga. Your yoga karka is Saturn sitting in the 10th. Mercury is the lord of the two important houses for Dhan yoga. This can give you good wealth. This sacrifice is not going to be a loss for you. This sacrifice is going to be the gain for you. This particular thing can happen either within your family or within your career. So I would say, just trust your instinct, trust your mind and heart, and take the decision. Do not be fearful. Do not fear that something bad will happen with you if you try to do something good and best for someone else. Because I know this Saturn and Mercury, whenever they come together, they give a very practical mindset. So a person is fearful that even if I do something good, will I be recognized for that? Will I be benefited from that? So I know this is a thought that you are getting, but you will be respected for that. You will get your recognition for that. That might come with delay because of the Saturn, but it surely will be there. Okay, and be very mindful of your interaction, of your um actions, your karma. And since Saturn is going to move away from this space, so this is the last gist of Saturn, which is going to be there. Okay. So now next is the sign of Gemini. For Gemini individuals, this is happening in the ninth house. This talks about learning. This talks about if you have a set of skills and you are passionate about something. Like, for example, you're passionate about writing. You wanted to become a story writer, or you wanted to become a novelist. You wanted to publish a novel, but you did not get the adequate time or opportunity so as to do that. Now is the time for you to either do that, or it is the time for you to actually learn more about your skills. Like, for example, you were interested in astrology ever since, but you never got the time to learn that. Now is the time when you actually get to learn it, learn about it. This coming into the ninth house, this talks about you going for the higher knowledge, taking benefit from that higher knowledge, and learning it in a very practical and factual manner. This can also give you a, either it is going to give you a very practical relationship, but since for the most of the time, Mercury is actually going to have the lower degrees than Saturn, you will actually be able to develop a very friendly relationship with your father. You will get an opportunity to actually have a beautiful, friendly relationship with him and also be benefited from his suggestions and from him as well. And for some individuals, this is the time when you'll ask your father to give you what is yours, to give you your inheritance to them, to you. Right? So it can actually work both ways. But most of all, you will see when Saturn is in power, when it is at the lowest degrees and Mercury is at the higher degrees, and that is in the ninth house, mostly these people do not gel in well with the father and also with the gurus. They have a very business-like relationship with them. That what is business-like relationship? It's you give me something and I will give you something else. It's like a barter system. Or it's more of like that you give me something which is greater in proportion and I'll give you something else. Like, for example, if I'm selling something, right? If I have a product and I'm selling it, what do? I, I calculate the fixed cost, then I calculate the variable cost plus profit. That is going to be my selling price. That is going to be the price I'm going to offer you. That's what the Saturn and Mercury does. That I am willing to sell you something, but in return, I want that money and my share in profit as well. So that's why in the ninth house, it can give a very business-like relationship with the father. The father can be absent. Now, this is not a prediction in transit, I would say, but it is actually now, it is actually a prediction that we do in the D1 chart when it is there. But when it is happening in the transit, then it's like that now you'll be asking for either his attention or to just have the business deal with him, that give me what is mine, give me my share, just separate me with my share, and I'm good to go. At the same time, you might, since actually these are not the nakshatras which actually talk about a friendly relationship, it's more about war-like situation. But still, since we have Mercury, there can be a not very healthy, but a little bit of friendly or negotiable relationship for some time. Okay. Now, since moon is also in the second house at the same time, you are going to, you know, be very practical. Your focus is right now about your stability and money. You want money right now. That's something that you need. Not just, it could be by circumstances, but it could even be that this is my right, I want to have it. This could be as such as well. And this is the same thing, same attitude you're going to have towards your work, your career. Now, this is the Lord of the eighth house, ninth house being conjunct with the first and fourth. So, your personality, your comforts, there are going to be sudden changes, sudden gains out of it, sudden negotiations. Okay, for this, you might, for people who are looking for moving abroad or going away at far places for learning and knowledge, gaining knowledge, you people can even move your residence so as to study more, so as to go for higher studies, or for the purpose of a better job, better opportunities. Howsoever, it is going to trigger that, right? Now, next is going to be the sign of Cancer. So for Cancer individuals, this Saturn and Mercury is happening in the eighth house. It's a lot of learning situation. This does gives you the idea of investing your money into long-term fixed assets. So you might be, negotiating for your inheritance, negotiating with your in-laws about money, about properties, that I want this much money. I want this much share. So you have to get it done. Just like, we talked about in Gemini, that they are going to have this such a communication with the father. So this is more about just settling down or budgeting either your joint assets with your husband. So this can be about of a person who is getting a divorce from the partner, and they are going to talk about how much money you will have, how much money I will have, all of that stuff. It's a very practical negotiation that happens. But this also talks about research, digging down deep to find out secrets, to find out what's there inside. So lots of secrets can actually surface in front of you, and you're going to actually use those secrets so as to gain, so as to be recognized, or so as to gain something. This Saturn is the lord of the seventh house and the eighth house. That's why I talked about that for some people who are actually experiencing divorce or divorce cases or something like that, that it can be for those. Or it's simply about in-laws or secret money, joint assets. If you're doing a business, then it's about the joint money, your money from the investors. This can even be about insurance money. And gambling also. You will somehow find interest into gambling. And you would want to, you would actually very practically and based on your experience, you would gamble. And you may gain from that. Now, this is subjective. This is subjective to everyone's chart. So I won't suggest you to go and gamble, you know, and go and purchase a lottery. I wouldn't ask you to do that. But yes, this might activate your inclination towards that. Now, if, for example, you were having a very time, very youthful time, or a time where you were like that, I am getting into sexual relationships or want to have a relationship, this Saturn and Mercury is actually slow down your horses. It is going to tell you to be a little patient, to not get attracted with every single of the other person you meet, right? So This is the Lord of the seventh and eighth being associated with the 12th and third. This talks about lots of transformations, sudden events you're going to experience, sudden travel, sudden shift of residence, sudden events, sudden negotiations, sudden receiving of money, sudden expense. So lots of sudden things are going to be there. I know Saturn actually slows the movement of Mercury, but it's in the eighth house. It is going to give its suddenness. At some point, the whole event might not be a sudden event, but there's going to be a sudden event which is going to lead to something long, slow, and stable. Okay, but definitely you are going to be very research oriented. You're going to research, dig deep, find a lot of secrets, not just secrets of knowledge, but secrets of other people as well. Okay, now next one is the sign of Leo. For Leos, this is having in the seventh house. Definitely a contractual relationship with the other person, within the marriage, if you're married, if you're not married. And if you're about to get married, you are definitely going to choose to go for contract marriage. If you decide to get married in February, you will decide to get a contract marriage. Okay? So this is a conjunction that is happening in your seventh house. So that will actually initiate a partnership business also, right? And a very practical relationship and business like relationship with the spouse. You guys might talk about finances, talk about how much you are going to put in, how much I am going to put in, but it's purely business, purely business-like situation. If you get married within this month or till the time all of this conjunction is happening, like probably till 14th of March, then your relationship, your marriage is going to be like this theme. It is going to set the theme because that's the transit in which you are getting married. At the same time, you have Moon in the 12th house and that too in Cancer. So it's like you're oblivion about the emotions right now. It's all business for you right now. It's not emotions. Emotions are not upfront right now. Now it's the Lord of the sixth house and seventh house. If you are a Leo ascendant and having a divorce-like situation, you're going to settle that divorce with money. You're going to get in your career, you're definitely going to get recognized, right? You're going to make certain decisions, you're going to do certain things which are going to make you get recognized, and definitely it will involve your skills, some technical skills, and some good opportunities with contractual business or contractual relationships as a part of business can come ahead, which can actually get you recognized. So recognition is there. Even I feel somehow at the time when Sun is going to actually join this conjunction, you might also get promoted or have promotion if you're waiting for promotion. So it's 12th of February and beyond. Right? Now, this is the Lord of the sixth and seventh getting conjunct with the second and 11th house. So actually, all of this dhan yoga and also the conflict yoga is going into your seventh house in your partnerships or towards your partner. So gains are going towards your partner, but if we see it another way, that it is going to make you gain through partnerships or through business. But if it is about, like I was talking, if it is about divorce, it's about separation, it might benefit your partner, and they might act extremely stubborn. and calculative during this time. Be very mindful of your communication. Be very mindful of what you are communicating, what you are saying. Okay? So be mindful of your interactions. This can be a good time for your career, but not the best for your relationships. Now, next is the sign of Virgo. For Virgos, this is happening in the sixth house. Actually, surprisingly, this conjunction does extremely well in the sixth house. See, whenever Mercury and Saturn comes there, you are very adaptable, very adjustable. Why? Because I told you guys, whenever this conjunction happens, you're grounded. You're considerate about the other person. You're careful about not hurting them. So when this comes into the sixth house, you do not fight a very competitive fight with the enemies. Rather, you fight in certain way that you are not the one who is hurting the other. You're just doing what's best for you, but not hurting anyone else. That's the kind of spirit you will be having in your career, in your competition. This is a good time for recognition. See, you have Moon in the 11th house. This is a good time for being generous, not just for people in general, but for people who are even your enemies. Try to do some seva, service, especially of old people, even the younger ones, and especially of your relatives. That is going to benefit you for this month. Mercury and Saturn in the sixth house, you're going to get done with your debt. You would want to very calculatively, smartly get done with your debt and be recognized for that as well. But at the same time, this can also make you take on debt when Sun is going to enter here. So it's like getting some parts of debts done with and also taking on another debt. But that debt is going to be more for business, for work, or for something important. Also, since this is happening in the sixth house, your health needs attention. You may find yourself having panic attacks, anxiety for this month. Do not overexhaust yourself in work. You will get to know about the secrets of your enemies, but try not to use them negatively for your benefit. Because this is Saturn. He makes sure that you do good karma. Now, this is the Lord. The first and the 10th Lord is being connected with the fifth and sixth. There might come an opportunity where you will be either selling something in your name, okay, selling or getting done with something, closing a loan, something like that in your name. Just a second. Okay. Right? So this also talks about you will be dealing with your conflicts in a very adaptable and adjustable manner. It is not going to be fierce. It's not going to be cutthroat like Ketu is normally in the first house because Ketu is leaving that space now, right? But be very careful of what you decide, what you do. Your decisions, your intelligence is going to matter here. And since the fifth lord is being connected with the sixth lord, and it's Saturn, you can take unnecessary decisions you'll not be very happy about. Okay? So be very focused, have a structured communication, align all of your important things to one side and just work upon them. Right? Now, next is the sign of Libra. Oh, just a second. Yeah. So the sign of Libra, uh, for Libras, this is happening in the fifth house. Whenever I see Saturn and Mercury in the fifth house, this becomes a very knowledgeable conjunction in the fifth house. Very knowledgeable also, but also at the same time very technical. You'll somehow find interest in technology. You would want to do something new, something skillful. There can be birth of your children. So most of your attention can be towards your children. That's why you'll have a very disbalanced routine because for which you might have to work on that routine. Now, this is actually the Lord of the Mercury is the 12th Lord and the ninth Lord coming into your fifth house. So it talks a lot about information, knowledge, higher knowledge, even the knowledge of mythology, astrology. It is getting conjunct with the fourth and fifth Lord in itself, right? So it's kind of a very knowledgeable and very technically getting involved within facts, gaining knowledge and also differentiating facts out of it. But this is a time where you are going to be extremely cautious and careful of your investments, of your money, where you are putting your money. Most of your income for this while might come actually from shares, speculation, or whatsoever intelligence or whatsoever knowledge you are gaining. At the same time, you have Moon in the 10th house. You would want to make some changes in regards of your career, some significant changes. Even these changes can be about the nature of your job. You would want to start something on the side, or you just want to dive into something knowledgeable stuff so as to take that into as a part of your career or as a part of your side hustle. But this is a very business-like relationship with the children. Like initially, we talked about Geminis and Cancers to be asking for their fair share in the assets. It can be that those Geminis and those Cancers are the children of these Librans. So it's like you are going to have a very business-like relationship. If you are getting into a romantic relationship, there also, there you might, you might just be very talkative, or you would want to get know deeper things about your the one you are getting connected in a love relationship, but you might even ghost them suddenly. And also a very business-like relationship with your children. So the love situation can actually be very dicey here. If you are already in a love situation, then you can actually find your interest going away from there. Okay. So there is a kind of confusion that you might have in that aspect. Now, next is the sign of Scorpio. For Scorpios, this conjunction is happening in the fourth house. some significant changes you would want to make within your home, within your house, or the structure of your house. This is a situation where you would want to work from home, or you would want to do some business, or you would want to take a remote job. But you have been very guarded with your emotions. Now you would use your intelligence. You have been guarded with your emotions. So you have started distancing yourself from relationships, and you have started understanding the actual true essence, the practical side, the reality side of relationships. Now you're willing to negotiate. You're willing to have a business negotiation within your relationships because your heart space has become very practical. So this can give the ability, like for example, we talked about Geminis, that they are going to ask their fathers for the fair and square share in the assets. Now here you're going to ask your mother. You're going to ask your mother, if you are expecting some inheritance, you're going to fight for your inheritance. You're going to ask for equal share, a business like experience you're going to have with the mother or the mother figure or within your home, in fact. Now, here we have the third lord coming into the fourth house, third and fourth lords coming into the in connection with the 11th and the eighth lord. So it does talk about inheritance. It does talk about some mutual money, some joint assets that now you want to get division from. You want to get recognized now. You want what is yours and you do not want what is not yours. So this can give a very practical business-like relationship with the mother for this wife. And you're desperate for having a change. And that change you would also want to have in your career. So you will be looking for different options that are more comfortable, more smart choices for as a part of your career. Okay. So next one is the sign of Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, this is happening in the third house. For this, while see Saturn coming into the third house, it restricts your communication. Mercury is coming into the third house as well. You want to communicate, definitely, but you want to communicate only what is necessary, not any unnecessary things. You have, since ever since Saturn was in the third house, you understood that unnecessary communication is not what something is going to lead you somewhere. So now you have developed a very practical sense of communication. You want to enhance your skills, you want to enhance your knowledge. You would suddenly develop interest into way knowledgeable things on internet, social media, or even on YouTube. You would want to learn from that. And you have actually started communicating in a very practical way. Now, this Saturn is not going to cut down your communication, but it is going to actually give you the ability to give out a structured communication. It can initiate a travel as well, but travel with your spouse. Some change, you would want to have some change in your life, and you are going to work it out. Right. Now, this Mercury in the third house, it actually wants you to have a healthy communication with your loved ones or with your closest friends. But that is going to also be there in a very structured manner. You are going to enhance your skills, work upon your skills, But what you will lack here is courage. This is not the time where you'll have the most courage in your life. So your courage is going to get challenged. You will encounter certain situation where your courage is going to be challenged. Now here we have the lords of the second and the third. So there can be some income coming from social media, communication, multimedia. At the same time, the seventh and the tenth lord. Partnership business with your partner. Or you might have some sort of partnership business. You might start with some partnership business. Okay. This also talks about a short distance travel or frequent short distance travels. But again, your career needs change. If you are into job, you would either want to stabilize in the existing job, but at a higher post. You would demand a higher post, or you would actually want to shift to another job, another more stable and promising job or work. Okay. So next, at the same time, your moon is in the eighth house. So you're not going to present your emotions. Your emotions are not going to be up there on the table. They are going to be hidden. They are going to be into research, into finding out secrets. And you know what? You will be actually discussing the secrets that you found out with your detective skills, with your research skills. You'll be talking about that. But you know what? Since your sun is also going to come there, be careful of what secrets you are exposing because that can actually harm you, your image. That can embarrass you at some point. So be very mindful of that. Okay. Next is Capricorn. For Capricorns, this is happening in the second house, Saturn Mercury conjunction. So you are going to budget, you're going to differentiate, segregate your finances, your assets. This is a strong time, good time for financial wealth. Somehow you will see the fortune is there. But at the same time, there can be debts, expenses that you have to incur. It will be like that you are incurring some expenses at the same time you are trying to save. But this can be an addition in your assets, addition in your money, right? So this Saturn, it's the second house, it's your communication. You can get recognized for your excellent advices. But again, this Mercury needs to be restricted, structured, no unnecessary advices. Please do not give unnecessary advices to anyone. Your relationship with your family, again, like Cancerians, Capricorns also would demand some segregation of their assets. Talking about practically, this is mine, please give it to me. Talking about finances, there's going to be division of finances. And since this is a year of nine, number nine, Mars, a lot of things about properties, inheritance, money, not money, but assets more of. So you will actually give the most excellent, practical, and actually applicable advices during this month. Now, this is the Lord of the second house and the first house coming into the second. And you know what? One more thing before I connect the other dots as well. There will be an opportunity where you would have to take a stand in front of your family. And you will find the hardest time to do that until Sun comes at a very close degrees with Saturn and Mercury. Till then, it is only going to be the fight within yourself to take a stand. But once it does, you'll be able to mark your stand, mark and speak about what you want, right? So, also the ninth and the sixth lord is coming to the second house, conflict with the family, conflicts with the family about money, business like relationship with the family. So, recognition is going to be there, the ultimate recognition, but it is going to take your efforts, your skills. At the same time, you'll be changing the way you talk. And also, this talks about you might find out some set of secrets and you will communicate them. See, this is not always about bad. What if you are an astrologer? You find something, some good new findings in your research, and you just communicate about that. Maybe you are a scientist and then you are doing this, right? So that's about it. Now, the sign of Aquarius. For Aquariuses, this is happening in the first house, Saturn and Mercury. This is your time to just adjust with your surroundings, just go with the flow, right? You are going to be much involved into money, business negotiations, business like deals, and everything of that sort you can think of. You're going to look for your money, your rights. You're going to think very straightforward, very practical. But somehow you're going to feel very underconfident. When Sun is going to enter and come a little bit closer to Saturn and Mercury, then is when you will find your self-esteem, find your confidence. Before that, you'll be struggling within yourself for that. In your mind you will have lots of things to speak about, but somehow it's the conversation going on within your mind but not practically coming in because of circumstances or because of situations. But once Sun enter and comes closer to it, you will get the opportunity to speak, to present yourself. Now, this is the 12th Lord coming into the first house. First Lord is also there. Eighth Lord is there. And also, we have the fifth Lord. Use your intelligence, use sharpness, use your critical mind, analytical mind to make decisions. Don't lose your authority. Don't lose your self-esteem. You have Moon in the 6,000 Pushya. Don't let your enemies get away because of your giving nature. See, it is good to be grounded. It is good to be respectful, but not at the cost of you getting the one who is getting the other person's foot over your head. Don't let anyone just demean you and go on the top. So I know this is going to be a difficult situation, a difficult time for you people. But when Sun comes in, it is going to help you find your authority, help you find yourself. Okay? So be mindful of your health. You would have to make some changes in your routine, in your health. It will be required now. Required. You'll be forced to do that. Okay? Now, next is the sign of Pisces. For Pisces, this is happening in the 12th house. This talks about spirituality. This will give you intense intuition, very strong intuition. And trust your intuition, but do not let yourself get into pessimism or negativity. I see Pisces individuals somehow would develop a very negative mindset. And don't be over giving also. This Saturn, Mercury, Sun, whenever Sun will come in, but altogether when Saturn, Mercury is in the 12th house, 12th house is something that you have achieved subconsciously. So you might not be actually thinking about it right now. You might not be doing that in action. So since Saturn and Mercury is about business deal, being practical, analytical, calculative with your deals. So when it comes into the 12th house, that means this is something you are lacking. This is something you do not have. So that is something you are just having subconsciously, but you're not having that in action. You're not having that in real. So your factual mind is going to take the back end. So you're going to start becoming fearful, it's superstitious. You need to stop that. When sun will come here, sun will actually give that hammer on your head and make you recognize where you were wrong, make you recognize what you are doing. So this Saturn and Mercury is going to first of all make you go into isolation, your focus. And if you are studying, like for example, I'm definitely getting most of Pisces individuals might be studying for this month. They'll be going into isolation, studying. It can be either for an exam, for a government exam, for any exam, or just naturally just isolating yourself and being dived into spiritual studies, scientific studies, research, finding out cures, finding out secrets. This is the Lord of the 11th house, 12th house, getting conjunct with the 4th house and the 7th Lord. Relationship is something where you are not willing to settle or not willing to adjust. Your patience is gone. You are like, now it's me, it's my priority. I don't care. And what other person is doing. You might even want to ghost. See, the romantic thing is there. The love, the wanting, the wanting for romance is there. But it's not necessarily in the marriage or in the existing relationship because of fourth house moon in Pushya. You want to be nurtured because you are willing to nurture. But if the marriage or partnership or existing relationship is not something that is giving you that, you'll be willing to leave that space. You'll be living to distance yourself from that. Okay? So next is the sign of, and you will be very calculatively involving yourself in calculations and paperwork, legalities, all of that. Now, next is the sign of Aries. For Aries individuals, this is happening in the 11th house. Beautiful placement. Very practical one. You will be presenting yourself in front of large population with your skills, with your courage, with your intelligence, with your factual information. You have your 10th Lord, 11th Lord conjunct in the 11th house with your third and sixth houses. You are going to fight your competition just like that. Only your skills are needed. Your talent is needed for you to fight with your competition. And it will not be the actual fight. It will be like that you are doing your own thing and the other people are just getting eliminated. The competition is getting eliminated just like that. So very competitive time for you and very good time for you. This can even call for marriage. This can give you opportunity of marriage or fulfilling your love into marriage if you are into, and not right now, but when sun will come into cusp of your 11th house, near the cusp of your 11th house. When I say cusp, that means look at your ascendant degrees, and then when sun will come closer to that degrees in the 11th house, then you'll be able to achieve that. But the compromise is going to be there. The sacrifice is going to be there. You have to structure your desires. Do not desire unnecessary things. And definitely the Saturn has made you learn that. That when you do not desire anything, the Saturn is going to actually give you everything. The moment you start desiring, this Saturn will say, now I'm not going to give you anything. Now you first work towards that desire of yours. Only then I'll be giving you everything. So this is a time, good time for social recognition, good time for career interactions, opportunities, good opportunities, and a lovely time. But be very careful of your image, be very mindful of your communication. Do not indulge into unnecessary communication with people, unnecessary fight with your authorities. Right? So at the same time, you have moon in the fourth house. You are actually thriving for that power. You are thriving for that promotion, for that designation, and you'll be able to achieve that as well. You'll be able to achieve that comfort for yourself. You'll be working towards that, and your skills will help you achieve that. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis about Mercury coming into the sign of Aquarius. So I hope this turns out to be very insightful and fruitful for you people. Okay, so see you in the next video very soon. I think the next ones I'll start posting about Saturn's transit, which is coming ahead, or solar eclipse. It will be either of the both. Okay, so see you next time. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings, you can check out the link in the description box, www.anmolastrology.com. And under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Under unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself. See you next time. Bye bye. Take care.